And what we see here is that fear is not anything that can produce the will of God in your life. You make your decisions out of faith or out of fear. Now, Abraham is a man who has faith, but in this moment, his decisions are governed and guided by fear. And what we have seen the last 2 years on planet Earth is that fear doesn't result in anything good. And the Bible tells us in the New Testament that God has not given us a spirit of fear. Oftentimes with fear, there is a demonic spirit and it becomes contagious. Do you remember the great toilet paper shortage crisis of 2020? Everybody's like, well, they're running with toilet paper. I'm running with toilet paper. We're all running with toilet paper. Why? Well, if the end of the world comes, I need to be clean. It's like, well, if the end of the world comes, I think that's the least of your worries. You know, like we're all in a zombie apocalypse, you know, holding toilet paper. And it's just, what it leads to is herd mentality, bad decision making. And when the crisis ultimately passes, you look back on the decisions you made, you're like, that wasn't very smart. That didn't make a lot of sense. But what happens is this, you and I, we were made to respond to threat with fight or flight response, and that's a good thing. But if you live in fright or fear, you cannot live in the will of God. And so God has not given us a spirit of fear. And the Bible says that perfect love casts out fear. Just like a demon needs to be cast out, so the spirit of fear needs to be cast out. And what you find is that churches and families and schools and businesses and states and cities and nations that infected themselves with fear are continually gripped by fear. They don't have any plan for their future. They don't have any courage for decision making. And as a result, they end up like Abraham in a very dangerous place for themselves and their family.